I grew up in Florida, Jacksonville, Florida. But when I was 4 years old, was the first time I was molested.
What's interesting is the Bible for thousands of years has said that lust, and that is the entire purpose and point of pornography, is sinful and it's unholy and it's unhelpful. And now modern medicine and science is starting to catch up with the truthful teaching of the Bible. And so biopsychologists and others are studying the effects of pornography on your brain and on your body. And that's because pornography really was, in its current form, it was a massive social experiment. People were uncertain what the results would be, but your generation, your parents' generation, they were essentially the lab rats for the massive experiment. And what we're finding now is that pornography alters the chemistry of the brain. It changes you as a person. One of the leading researchers from the Christian side is William Struthers. He's a Christian biopsychologist. He wrote a very interesting book called Wired for Intimacy. And then he not only looked at what the Bible says, but also what medicine and recent biochemical studies have found. And here were his findings. He said, as we, quote, fall deeper into the mental habit of fixating on these images, the exposure to them creates neural pathways. Like a path is created in the woods with each successive hiker, so do the neural paths set the course for the next time an erotic image is viewed. Over time, these neural paths become wider as they are repeatedly traveled with each exposure to pornography. So here's what he's saying. You desire pleasure and the relief that comes ultimately from activities surrounding pornography, and so you venture down that path so that you might receive that pleasure. Over time, this is how you become addicted, because your body becomes habituated, conditioned to going down that path for that pleasure. It's a neural pathway. You think of it this way. Think of a pristine wilderness where no one has been, except for one path that was frequently hiked upon, and everyone ventured along that path. Eventually, it would be a well-worn rut. So it is in the biopsychology of our brains. If we pursue pleasure down a particular path, over time, a neural pathway, to say it in another way, a rut is created. And our body becomes habituated, conditioned to seeking that pleasure down that pathway. Now, additional biopsychological studies have said that the pleasure that is derived is affecting the same part of the brain and having a very similar response as that of heroin or cocaine. And so, if you've ever known anyone who tried to get off of cocaine or heroin, someone who is deeply addicted to pornography has the same kind of potential struggle, because just like the person who is addicted to cocaine or heroin has created for themselves a neural pathway, they've conditioned their body and reshaped their brain to go down a path for a pleasure, and now it's a well-worn rut. So it is with pornography. That's why you hear people say that they're addicted to porn, in the way that some are addicted to cocaine or addicted to heroin. It's that same kind of biochemical high. And so when people come along and they say, well, two consenting adults, they're having fun, where's the harm? You're literally conditioning your body and re-hardwiring your brain to become addicted to images that you will ultimately prefer over people, such as your spouse, which is the whole point of sex according to the Bible in the context of marriage.